My name is Camille Langston, and I'm 29 years old. The night my father mocked me in front of 100 guests at my brother's luxury penthouse party in Charlotte, I snapped. And when I did, I took my whole family's perfect image down with me. It wasn't just a clapback. It was a carefully planned revenge, a reckoning that exposed every lie they built their reputation on. I'll never forget that moment. My dad raised his glass and said loud enough for the crowd to hush, "So, Camille, when are you gonna get half of what your brothers got?" The room laughed, except I wasn't laughing. I was gripping a wine glass so tight it almost cracked. I looked at my dad, then my mom, then my smug older brother, and smiled. Slow, cold, calculated. "I already do, in fact, I have double." Gasps, a choked cough. My brother froze mid-sip. My mother turned pale, blinking like she'd seen a ghost. Because what they didn't know was that I'd been building something in secret. And that night, they were about to choke on the truth they spent years ignoring. Have you ever had to prove your worth to your own family? Drop your city in the comments. I want to hear your story. Growing up in the Langston household was like living under a spotlight that never once touched me. My brother Chase was the chosen one, varsity athlete, golden boy, always one big opportunity away from his next applause. Our parents, Marcia and Thomas, worshipped the ground he walked on. We lived in a pristine neighborhood in Charlotte, matching lawns, American flags on porches. But inside our home, it was all about Chase. He got a brand new Jeep at 17. When I asked for help with college books, I was told to learn responsibility. When I got a scholarship to UNC Charlotte, my parents shrugged. When Chase got waitlisted at Duke, they threw him a pre-acceptance barbecue like it was a done deal. I was invisible, a supporting role in the Chase Langston show. I tried to be enough. I graduated with honors, worked late nights in data science, climbed my way up with zero help. But it was never enough. And then, one phone call cracked the last piece of my patience. Mom was planning Chase's housewarming party at his new condo in uptown Charlotte. A $450 K Skyline unit paid mostly by our parents. I told her I'd gotten a promotion and was looking at buying a house. Her reply, "That's nice, dear. So can you pick up extra champagne for the party?" That's when I decided. They were going to see me, even if I had to burn their delusions to the ground. A few weeks later, everything shifted. I met Julian Blake at a tech summit downtown. He wasn't just another pretty face in a suit, he listened. When I told him about my family, he didn't offer pity, he offered plans. "We'll get your house," he said one night over barbecue wings and a beer. "You're already the powerhouse, now let's build the empire." And we did. We bought a 2-story modern Craftsman in Myers Park. Nearly $1 million. No parental help. No handouts, just grit and grind. I didn't tell my family, not because I was hiding, but because I was loading the truth like ammunition, waiting for the perfect moment to fire. The night of the party was disgusting. Mom had me arranging centerpieces. Chase gave a speech thanking our parents. I wasn't mentioned. When I tried to share my latest career milestone, Dad cut me off to brag about Chase's new espresso machine. I bit my tongue, for now. But then came the toast. The cruel joke disguised as a compliment. The punchline they expected me to laugh along with. That's when I dropped the bomb, and the fallout was delicious. The silence after my announcement felt louder than the jazz humming through the speakers. "I bought a home," I repeated, louder this time, "with Julian. It's in Myers Park, worth nearly $1 million, no help from anyone." All eyes were on me now. Forks hovered midair. Chase's fiancée, Sierra, let out a low whistle. Even the local councilman that Dad had been dying to impress blinked, eyebrows raised. My dad's face was stone. My mom's smile cracked like glass. And Chase, he laughed. One of those dry, awkward chuckles. "Come on, Cam, what are you trying to prove?" "I'm not trying to prove anything," I said, turning to him. "I did. While you were playing house with Mom and Dad's money, I built something real. Without shortcuts." That shut him up. Julian stepped beside me then. He'd arrived just in time. Cool, composed, and every bit the partner they didn't think I deserved. He slid his arm around my waist. "And we did it together," he added. Mom blinked like she was waking up from a spell. "You didn't tell us." "Why would I?" I snapped. "So you could ignore it, or worse, downplay it. Just like you did with every other milestone in my life." Gasps rolled through the crowd. But I wasn't done. I turned to the guests. You all came to celebrate Chase, that's fine. But let's not pretend this success wasn't bought. My parents paid the down payment. They still pay his utilities, even helped with that investment fund he brags about. Chase's face turned a deep red. And when I asked for help once, I continued, I was told to learn to stand on my own, so I did. The party was unraveling fast. Aunt Rhonda, one of the few who'd ever shown me any kindness, set her drink down and said loud enough for half the room to hear, "That's true. I remember. You two skipped Camille's graduation for Chase's real estate seminar." Dad stepped forward, angry now. "You're ruining this night with your attitude." "No, Dad. You ruined it the day you made me believe I'd never be enough unless I was Chase." Then came the twist no one saw coming. Sierra, yes, my brother's picture-perfect fiancé, spoke up. "Actually," she said, her voice clear, "I've been wondering something too. Chase, how did you afford that new Audi and this condo when you've been complaining about credit card debt for months?" The room froze again. Chase's mouth opened. Closed, opened, Julian raised an eyebrow. "Oh," I said sweetly. "You didn't tell her about the trust fund withdrawal, did you?" Sierra stared at him, eyes wide. "What trust fund?" Busted. I smiled at my mother. "This whole night," I said, "was a performance. But guess what? The audience just saw the script." Sierra's face had gone completely still, like someone had hit pause on her expression. She turned slowly to Chase. "You pulled from your trust," she said, voice dangerously quiet. "The one you said you wouldn't touch until after the wedding." I was going to replace it," Chase stammered. "It was just temporary." "Babe, listen." "Don't," she said, stepping back. "Don't call me babe like we're fine. I asked you flat out if your family was funding this place and you said no. You lied to me." The guests were practically holding their breath now. Every word echoed. Mom looked horrified, less because of the lie and more because the perfect image was cracking in public. "Can we please take this offline?" she whispered sharply, trying to steer Sierra away. But Sierra wasn't budging. "Oh no, Marcia," she said, using my mom's first name like a slap. "You've been trying to sell me on your son like he's some great catch, but it turns out he's just a rich boy who lives on borrowed pride." Dad's voice thundered. "Enough," but Sierra turned on him too. "No, Mr. Langston, you don't get to yell now. Your daughter spent years earning everything on her own, and you mocked her for it in front of everyone. You made a toast to your son and used her as a punchline." Gasps again. Murmurs. I didn't say a word. I didn't have to. Sierra had taken the torch and set the whole illusion on fire. Then came the second twist. Uncle Roy, my dad's older brother, stepped out of the crowd holding a tumbler of scotch and said, "Tom, you might want to sit down." Dad glared. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about how this isn't the first time Chase dipped into that fund," Roy said slowly. "He asked me for a short-term loan 6 months ago. Said he had to cover unexpected business expenses. I didn't think much of it until now." Chase looked like he was about to throw up. "You told me you were bootstrapping your app," he whispered, eyes wide. Uncle Roy scoffed. "There's no app, is there?" Julian leaned into my ear and whispered, "Did you know about this?" "Not all of it," I whispered back. "Just enough to know my brother was living on fantasy money." The room was unraveling fast. You could feel the social hierarchy melting, shifting. Someone in the back muttered, "Wow, the whole family's built on BS." That's when Patricia arrived, my best friend, fashionably late as usual, walking in like she knew she was entering the third act of a drama. She scanned the frozen crowd, raised one eyebrow and said, "What'd I miss?" I looked at her, grinned, and said, "Everything." Patricia strutted in wearing a deep emerald coat, high heels clicking against the hardwood, and not a single ounce of fear on her face. She walked right up to me and kissed my cheek like we were on the red carpet. "I see the vultures are circling," she said, eyeing the stunned guests. "Good thing I brought dessert." Mom's jaw twitched. "Patricia, this is a private family event." "No, Marcia," Patricia interrupted with a smile. "It's a public spectacle. Let's not pretend otherwise." Chase tried to shift the attention. "All right, we've all had a lot to drink. Can we move on now?" "No, actually," Patricia said, voice like velvet wrapped around a blade. "We haven't even gotten to the good part." She reached into her purse and pulled out a thin red folder. "What the hell is that?" Dad snapped. Patricia handed it to me. "Camille, tell your family what you found." I blinked, confused, then opened the folder. Inside were copies of emails, screenshots, a spreadsheet. My eyes widened. It was documentation of Chase's fake startup, the LLC, the GoFundMe campaign he'd started under a false name. The money invested by their church friend Mr. Haverson, who'd apparently been promised returns from Langston Digital Ventures. I looked up at my brother, stunned. "You scammed people." "It wasn't a scam," Chase said too quickly. "It was just a soft launch. I needed capital to get traction." "You told people it was fully funded by angel investors," Patricia snapped. "Turns out the only angel was your dad's checkbook." You could feel the shame boiling under Dad's skin. He turned to Chase, gripping the back of a chair. "Is this true?" Chase said nothing. The room erupted. Half the guests started whispering. Some grabbed coats. Others made a beeline for the exit. The illusion of the perfect Langston family had officially collapsed. And then, just when I thought we'd reached peak disaster, Julian took out his phone. "I think it's time we post this," he said. He showed me the screen. It was a short, beautifully edited video, clips of our house being built, us signing papers, me receiving my promotion, us laughing in the kitchen. Over it all, his voice narrated, "When you're overlooked, sometimes the best revenge is success they can't deny." He tapped upload. And just like that, the truth went public. Julian's video hit social media like a tidal wave. In under 30 minutes, it was already climbing. Shares, likes, comments flooding in. The caption: "My girlfriend was always treated like she was second best until she built a life twice as big as her brother's. Here's what her family didn't want you to see." The video was tasteful, powerful, not bitter, just brutally honest. My accomplishments, our home, the truth behind the perfect Langstons. Within hours, local influencers picked it up. Then came the Charlotte Morning Buzz podcast. Then came the WCCB News' lifestyle segment, the data analyst who outshined her golden boy brother. I woke up to hundreds of DMs. Women from all over the country, nurses, teachers, lawyers, thanking me for standing up to family favoritism. But the fallout? Oh, the fallout was savage. Chase's startup was unofficially blacklisted from every angel investor circle in Charlotte. Word got around fast. He was a fraud with a trust fund and a camera-ready smile. Sierra, she packed her bags and left him, moved in with her cousin in Asheville and posted a TikTok titled, "How I Dodged a Red Flag in a Suit." It got 2 million views in 2 days. But the Langston family collapse didn't stop there. Mom tried damage control. She posted a long, teary Facebook video. "We never meant to hurt Camille. Families make mistakes." Except people weren't buying it. Especially not after someone leaked audio from the party. Yes, someone Patricia had been recording. My dad's voice, clear as day. "So Camille, when are you gonna have half of what your brothers got?" That one clip became a meme. Someone edited it over a clip of Beyoncé singing, "Who Run the World? Girls." It was glorious. Church friends distanced themselves. My parents stopped getting dinner invites. The HOA, Community Spotlight, in their neighborhood quietly removed their names from next month's newsletter. As all this played out, I kept my peace. I posted once, just a single photo of Julian and me standing in front of our new home. Caption, "No longer in anyone's shadow." The likes rolled in. But I didn't post again. I didn't need to. My family had spent years pretending I was invisible. Now they were the ones no one could see without side eyes and whispers. Weeks passed. Fall settled into Charlotte like a soft blanket, leaves drifting in shades of gold and rust, while my parents' once pristine image rotted like the pumpkins on their untouched porch. They didn't speak to me, not directly, but I heard through Aunt Rhonda that my mom was devastated and that Dad was embarrassed to show his face at the golf club. Chase, he went dark on social media. Sierra's viral breakup had become the only thing people associated with his name. His startup site was pulled down. He quietly returned the Audi. Julian and I, we flourished. Our home became a haven. We hosted dinners with people who saw me, not as Chase's sister, not as some background character, but as the woman who earned every inch of her life. Then came the letter. A formal envelope, cream-colored, embossed. It was an invitation. To Thanksgiving dinner, at my parents' house, a handwritten note was tucked inside. "We'd like to make things right. Please come, bring Julian. Love, Mom." I stared at it for a long time. My first instinct was to throw it out. But something in me said no. Go, let them look you in the eye. Let them see what they lost. Julian and I arrived just as the sun dipped below the trees. The house looked the same, big, tidy, perfect, but colder, quieter. My mom opened the door. Her smile was hesitant, forced. Dad stood behind her, hands tucked into his slacks. No bourbon in sight. We sat, the air was stiff. Turkey, sweet potatoes, green beans, it all looked good, but the energy, dead. Then, halfway through dinner, my father set his fork down, cleared his throat. "I owe you an apology." The words felt like a thunderclap. "I was wrong," he said, staring at his plate. "About you, about everything. You built something better than I ever imagined, and I made you feel small for it." I didn't speak. I let him sit in it. Mom chimed in next. "I didn't realize how deep the hurt went. I see it now. In the way people look at us. In what we lost." "You didn't lose me," I said calmly. "You gave me away, piece by piece, every time you ignored me. Every time you turned your back. And you only looked back once everyone else saw it too." They both looked down. That's when I took a deep breath and pulled out my final card, a small velvet box. I slid it across the table. Mom opened it. Inside, a key. "What's this?" she asked. "It's the spare key to my house. Julian and I had an extra made, not for you, for me, to remind me that I don't need to knock on anyone's door for approval. I own the door now." Silence. I stood up. Julian followed. "I came to hear your apology. I got it, but forgiveness, that's not owed, it's earned." As we left, I saw Chase watching from the hallway. His eyes were hollow. He opened his mouth, but I held up a hand. "Not yet," I said. "Maybe not ever." Months later, I heard through Patricia that my parents were still trying to fix their reputation. Volunteering, hosting church events. But the whispers never fully stopped. Chase moved to Denver. Quietly, alone, and me. I wake up every day in a house built on my own backbone. I drink coffee on a porch I earned. I laugh with a man who never once asked me to shrink. I'm not the shadow anymore. I'm the sun, and they have to live with that.